Hey, 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 we're back, we're black, we're brown. Ambition, 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 ambition. Hey, Mandra, how you doing today, girl?
I'm breathing.
Okay, you want to take it? Let's start off with that because Lord knows I can use it too. Okay.
Yeah, let's do a little inhale.
Everyone
for
together.
4.
Okay.
Inhale for 4, hold for 7, out for 8.
Okay, let's do that. 1, 2.
Out through the toes. I always imagine that my toes have little mouths.
Oh, I like that though, because it's kind of like allows the breath to go through your body.
Yes, you imagine. I imagine I'm breathing in through the top of my head. I think I listened to that through a meditation app one time, and I was just
okay.
Like, yes, you like pull up with your head and then just like let it flow. Visualize it going all the way to your toes.
I like that.
That's how I go to sleep every night. Yeah, girl, I feel like the season of too much is upon us. I'm ready to throw October to the garbage gods and light it on fire. But I know, listen, no offense to you and other October people. And if this was a month for you, if you got engaged, if you had a baby, if you got an amazing whatever promotion, but personally, I would like October to go mind its damn business until next year. Because I just booked my second flight to Georgia in 3 weeks for a funeral. My uncle passed, my dad's brother passed, and it's so fucking sad.
I know you talked about your Uncle Mark.
You know, the holidays are coming. So my queens who are from why do I only want to say broken homes? Just, modern homes where it's like blended families and divorce, and you have to like figure out which family is going to get the shaft this year, because not everybody can be pleased. And as much as I've worked on like, being at peace with the fact that I can't please everybody, of course, still you want to please people around the holidays. Yeah. So the mental gymnastics of like, where are we going to spend which holiday with who? Has begun, along with like my son's school sent us a note last night that this is Spirit Week. But thank God today was pajama day. I was like, can it be pajama day every day? Can it be you've worn those same pants in 2 days in a row day? Like that.
I am currently wearing the pajamas I slept in, so look at me on the
it was pajama
look at me
day.
But how are you overall? I know that that was one of your favorite uncles.
Well, he favorite, like we weren't super close, but the thing about, and it's my Uncle Mark, may he rest in peace. The thing about Uncle Mark is like he was just always, he never asked anything of us or of me. I'll talk about my relationship with him. He was just always sweet and always giving and so proud. And the one thing is he sent me, at the time I was like, what an interesting baby gift. When I had Rio, Uncle Mark sent me this like giant package of Sesame Street washcloths, which was like such a specific gift. And I'm like, wow. But when I tell you, I have gone through all like 50 of those things, and they're always a thing I pull out instead of like all the fancy baby, rags and burp cloths and all that kind of stuff. So whenever I see those Sesame Street washcloths, I always think about him. And the last text I sent him was like, do you know, I use the hell out of those washcloths.
I love that
so much. And the last conversation we had, this is why it's so sad. And I'm going to turn it around, because I'm trying to look at this from like a use this moment to learn and to grow for your family moment, because my uncle, he suffered from kidney disease, kidney failure, like so many people in my family do. And he was on dialysis for 14, 15 years. And in recent weeks, he had offered us comfort and offered us sort of a window into what his life on dialysis is like. As I'm not trying to put my dad's business out there, but my dad is also potentially going to be dealing with that as well. Anyway, but Uncle Mark, he got on the phone with my brother, my dad, and I, and he was like, this is what it's like. It's a part of my routine. Your dad doesn't have to your dad doesn't have to suffer. Like he can make it a part of his life. Like there's cruise ships where they do dialysis, all this kind of stuff. And he was so comforting to us. And so now 2 weeks later for him to die from complications of that very disease, and having gone to my grandpa's funeral just 3 weeks ago, who died from kidney cancer. And it is just, it's humbling, but it's also, it feels like I'm finally awake in a lot of ways. Like this, it's not the kidney disease that has been killing so much of my family, my dad's side of the family. It's all the underlying chronic conditions. So if you're someone with diabetes in your family and hypertension, the way that it moves in my dad's side of the family, I mean, in 2023, like how can I have an aunt who died from diabetes complications? Like that's just, to me, it's criminal, you know. But in our community in Atlanta, like my dad's family, access to healthcare is a real issue. Access to affordable insurance is a real issue. When your primary care doctor is a fucking ER and you have to wait hours to be seen, they're not in there giving you like holistic care. No primary care doctor has been on you about getting your glucose levels tested and talking to you about the long-term, you know, impact of these chronic diseases. And it's like now my family is reaping not the rewards. It's just like, it is finding out the consequences of not educating ourselves and not making changes, you know, and not making it like our jobs, like making it a part of our jobs to check on each other and be on each other's, you know, backs about taking care of ourselves. The way that, you know, I feel like a lot of the stress that my brother and I have had around showing up for my dad now and making sure that he has all of his appointments and he meets those things. I'm like, where have I been? My dad's a hot mess. Like, where have I, you know, I take some of that ownership. I'm the eldest. I'm his, you know, first daughter. And so there's like that pressure, and I know I'm going to go to this funeral at the end of this week, and I don't know what to say other than like, we have to wake up and we have to start. Like my cousins, you know, we're not that young anymore. We're in our 30s and 40s now, but we have to get it together and break this cycle, because this is the last funeral I want to go to from a preventable disease, you know, in our family. And so, did I say I was going to turn it around and like put a positive spin on it? Because I think I lost the spin, but maybe
no, I think that you know, someone listening is going to be like, have I checked in on my mom, my dad, my sister, my brother?
And are they telling me?
Yeah. Because sometimes you have to lay eyes. That's what they call it, you know, like, you know, is it Zoom? Is it, you know, if you're able to go see them personally, maybe they live in the town near you. But not just that. Are you, I'm not going to lie, I have not been to the primary care doctor in so long. Really since before Jarrell passed away. So it's been over 2 years.
Okay.
And like, I'm supposed to get like a mammogram, you know, because I'm 44 now. I think I have not, you know, I was like, I had all these things like, okay, this is like, you know, my doctor gave me like a list of things. And then she got sick with cancer. And she was gone for a while. And I just was like, you know, you just are like, oh, I got to find a new primary. I got to, you know, I know ZocDoc is one of our sponsors. Something. I was like, I think that's what I actually used initially to find her. And I, you know, you just like, you kick the can down the, you know, down the road. And then Jarrell passed away and just everything else flew out the window. I just was like, I don't, you know, I can't even think about it. But just most recently, I've been like, Tiffany, like, you don't know where you stand health-wise. I mean, you know, I don't. You know, when I was doing IVF, I mean, I literally probably went to the doctor 2 or 3 times a week. So I was constantly blood pressure, blood work, And so it was like, I knew everything, where I stood, you know. But then when that process was over, I can honestly tell you, I have no idea. So I'm like, I know, like, I need to know, you know, there are not too many things that I know of that run in my family. My dad is in his 80s. He doesn't have, as far as I know, high blood pressure. No, that's not true. Maybe a little, but something that's like, comparable to his age. You know what I mean? Like nothing, I mean, not that I know of that cancer or anything runs in our family, but still these things you don't know, you know? So
until you sit around and chat. Like in my family, it's just such a part of the fabric on my dad's side of like their daily lives. Like it was never a conversation like, did you know that grandpa is suffering from kidney failure. Like if you go to when I say I feel like the lights kind of came on in my eyes when I visited my dad recently for my grandpa's funeral, which happened to be like, you know, he died the day my dad was discharged from the hospital for anyway. And as we were driving from the airport to my dad's house in the heart of Atlanta on the way to where he lives, like a little bit south of Atlanta, when I tell you the number of dialysis centers I saw, it was like, you know, when you go down those streets with car dealerships and there's just one on every side and there's like 10 there, it was like that, you know, and it's like a diabetes and dialysis treatment center. And I'm just like, look at the business. Look at the business. Look at the billions that are being made on the backs of people who are dying from an illness or suffering from an illness that is, you know, that's treated because it's a symptom. It's a symptom of these preventable, you know, conditions. And this is all, remember when we talked about Ozempic not long ago? Ozempic is the, you know, the Hollywood drug people are using to lose weight now. It was started as a diabetes drug. And of course now it's like a, you know, a miracle drug for weight loss and all of that. But the day that it came out that they had just completed, this came out like last week or so, because I was sending it to my brother and my dad and like harassing his doctors, because Ozempic has been found to actually help with kidney disease, chronic kidney disease, which makes sense because diabetes, you know, is tied to that anyway. The stocks of these dialysis companies started to go down. You know, the last thing they want is to cure. Huge business on Black and brown bodies. I wish I had done a little bit more research so I could share some stats on how like much more prevalent these diseases are in our communities, but I know that they are. So, and I think it's on us to understand what our risk factors are and not let a doctor tell us, because your doctor may not share the same background, but hopefully, you know, it's great if they do. And I stopped playing around. Glad that I stopped playing around with like, I don't know, Dr. Roulette, or just not Dr. Roulette, but like I would be like, oh, I need a physical. Let me go find a different doctor, because I would move so much. I finally found a primary care this past spring, and I was like, you're my lady. I'm going to see you again because I need to be, you know, I want to be committed in a committed PCP relationship. So it's, just your reminder. And Tiff, get your mammogram, girl.
I know.
I feel like we talked about this last year.
Yeah,
too.
probably. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds so uncomfortable. I don't blame you for not wanting to go get your boobs smashed.
I know.
But,
Benny, don't say it like, because now I'm like, I don't want to do it.
They did on the Today Show. Go and take a little camera with you and, you know, make a reel.
And I know, like, I mean,
content.
I don't know how old you're supposed to be when, like, colonoscopy, like, right? Isn't that coming up too?
Well, that started for me at 25 because of my family history. That I knew.
Okay, so that's another one.
I knew Enrique loved me when he survived the colon prep night.
Yeah, I remember when Jarrell did it. One thing about Jarrell, that's why it was so crazy when he just was not here, because he when who's the gentleman that played from Wakanda, Chadwick Boseman.
Oh, Chadwick Boseman, yeah.
When he passed away, the next week he made an appointment. You know, because Jarrell passed away when he was 41. So he wasn't, typically they said you wait at 45. He said no, because he said, I saw the research that said that Black men should start getting tested at 40. And I remember the prep the night before, drinking all that stuff and all the, you know. So I just like, because y'all know my mom, well, you might know, but my mom is a nurse. And so she's been getting on us, like, are you getting your regular this? You know, like, because, and you're right, I have to, like, you know, I have to, like, I feel quote unquote fine, but what does that even mean? So many things are silent, you know, like, you know, whether they're, you know, PCOS, some people have, you know, fibroids, y'all know I had fibroids. I didn't even know. There's so many things that if known ahead of time, you know, you can navigate. And even now lately, I'm like, I've had this really nasty cough for the last couple of days. I'm like, please don't tell me I have COVID. But I took a test and said no. Yeah. But, you know,
cute fall viruses.
That's what I'm just like, oh, how great for me. I had to use my damn asthma pump for the first time in like 2 years. You know, I was like scrambling around
when the holiday season was something that was just so pure.
Girl.
I mean, just like from a kid's perspective. But now it's like, oh God, it's like tax season almost.
Girl, it's like asthma, aches, pains, my back. No, but
Oh man, BA fam, we feel you going through it, and
it's a lot right now.
Yeah, it's so much. I think the best thing that I inherited from my family is my sense of humor, because the way it has saved my life this past few months. Shout out to my mom and my dad too, but my mom. I really got that, like, you know, that sense of humor, that bite, that wit. If I ever hurt you with my words, my mom taught me how to sharpen that knife. Yeah, just humor and creating that soft landing for myself. So having my therapist, you know, having my psychiatrist, so I don't have to go looking for them. I'm like, there's a lot going on, and I'm not even going to waste time feeling bad about it, that I'm having a hard time managing. So let me get the help I need and keep it moving. But yeah.
And that includes mental health, you know, like, yeah, no, you know, I'm always bragging on Dr. Green, because she's like literally helped to save my life. And, you know, having someone to talk to, and there are different mental health specialists. Like Dr. Green actually specializes in trauma. That's why she was perfect for what I needed her for, you know? And even now, that's one of the questions. It's like, I love Dr. Green. And I'm like, well, if this is your specialty, if I'm no longer in this heightened traumatic state, what does that look like? You know, like in a year, do I find another therapist? I'm going to ask her, you know, like what?
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, I don't know, because I mean, I don't want to let go of Dr. Green, but I also want to be mindful that, like, you know, if it's more maintenance, is this still appropriate? This, because I don't ever really want to stop going to therapy, truthfully, because I think it's just been so helpful. But I just want to make sure that, like, I am always aligned with where I'm wanting to go, you know? Even though these hard times are hard times, I'm just seeing this trend in people focusing inward. You know, that I just see so many people who are just like, girl, I'm not doing all that. I'm focusing on my family, the people I care about, my friends, like the work that moves me. So there is a shift happening. Remember before, this shift was toward like, go, 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 more, work. Yeah. You know, we were everybody was in their Gary Vee era, you know, but even Gary Vee, I recently heard him on the podcast, Erica taught me, and he was talking about slowing down and peace. I'm like, wow, even Gary Vee is tired. So if you're tired, that is okay. We are all tired. It is okay to be tired. It is okay to say, I don't want to do quite as much. And it's okay. Like, honestly, I am now reverse engineering, where I'm looking at my life and saying, how much do I really need? Not from the excess, but from as little as possible to live this. And so that way, what do I need to do to make just what I need? You know, so I have more time for people. I have more time for rest. I have more time for peace. You know, like the Tiffany from 10 years ago was like more. That more is more. And now to me, the more is different. Before it was like more money, more accolades. And now it's more time, more. Like I had my sister sale with my sisters this weekend. We do an annual sale where we do a closet sale and we clean out our closets. And then Lisa has a really cute apartment, a garden apartment in Jersey City that's right on the corner. And so we do like a sidewalk sale with all of our stuff. And
y'all are so freaking cute. I can't stand it.
And so it was so nice because it was like the sisters minus the one in Chicago, plus one of my nieces, Amelia, and Roman.
Minus the one in Chicago. See, I'm that sister minus the one in New York.
Did you see? It was just great.
There's a study that came out that said people who have healthy relationship with their sisters like have
I saw that
the best lives, something like that.
I saw that.
My sister, I imported her from Wisconsin, like a rare cheese. She's visiting, and I was like,
I love that.
Continue.
Yeah, sisters are just awesome. I just want that for all of us, is that we are really like, you are allowed to look at your money and your finances and say, fit to the life that I want. And if you are in your Gary Vee hustle grind, more, whatever, there's no judgment here because we have been there. But if you are in your laid back, chill peace, the purpose of your finances is to fit to the life that you're wanting. And so don't be afraid to update the financial part of your life to fit to wherever you're wanting to go or wherever you are now. Like, you are allowed to update and change and say, I know I said I wanted to make 300,000, blah, 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 but 150 is more than enough to do the things that I want. And so I could take a nap, you know?
How many of us are getting beaten up by our own aspiration? That's what
me.
Notice how I said aspiration, not ambition. Because, right, it's a healthy amount of ambition. But I will say that I'm not going to move the way I would have moved as a business owner if I started my business at 22, you know. I'm moving as a person. It's almost like I don't want to create a business that requires me to be at 100% all the time, because the reality is, like, if I can get like a solid 65% on it, like, I'm like, today was good. You know, like, I was 65% of my my cup being filled is like pretty decent. And the days that so last week was a week before that, the week of the 20th, whenever FinCon was, that was a week where I needed 100% of myself. And I knew it. I was like, this is going to be a tough week, but I felt good when I booked everything. And then, all this shit started happening with family, and then my mental health, and, just like the seasons and all that. And I was like, okay, we have to break the image of the person I thought I was going to be for this week. Yeah. Because the person I am can't do this. And I had to back out of FinCon. I was supposed to give a talk there. I had to cancel like several meetings that were like big ideas for, maybe next year kind of meetings, and just like bring it back to the bare minimum. Yeah. And it sucked. But I was also like, do this or run yourself. Like, for who? Yes. For who? For to disappoint, to make me happy, because no one else is asking me to do everything, Yes. And I'm so glad that it's hard to make, especially for women who are ambitious, like we literally call this brown ambition because we are both brown and we're both really ambitious. And it's hard when from that space to say, I'm actually going to do less. It's really hard to make the decision to do less. It's one thing when life forces your hand, you're like, well, but it's hard to make and I hate the word, and maybe the word less has this negative connotation. It's not really less. It's just like a reallocation of the energy, because it's more for you. Quality versus quantity.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And I want that for us.
I want to be where 65% of Mandi can, have a thriving business that's paying the bills. I don't have to worry. I'm working towards that, Yes. But 1 hour at a freaking time. You know what I'm trying to say here?
And now you can see why, for those of you who might have cringed when I said that I bought my condo cash, even though I know I could put it in the market. It's because I didn't want to have to worry about a mortgage. Even though there's more money in the long run, I have a lot of money already, if I'm being candid, but I knew that this was going to be a year where I might not be able to fully show up. And I didn't want to have to be like, of course I had plenty of savings, whatever, but there's an anxiety for me to tap into emergency savings, even though it's there. I wanted to say, I know the budget would have to be closed down for me not to be able to afford my life, because I don't have a mortgage on my current home and I don't have a mortgage on the condo. But I did that intentionally to relieve
rates, though.
Girl, to relieve some of the stress of like, what you don't got to worry about, Tiffany, is you just have to make the bare minimum to make your, to afford your life. And so I wanted that peace of mind over more money in the long run. And to me, it didn't hurt. I mean, certainly it's like, oh, you really could have made more. Maybe there's an extra 6-figure. I get it. But I just was like, this is what I mean about adjusting your financial life to fit how you want your actual life to go. And so for me, after talking with my financial advisor, I didn't make the decision lightly. And she said, here's the difference in the long run. Either way, you're fine. It's just a difference between a lot of money or a little bit more than a lot of money. And I was like, I'll take less. I'll take less money in the long run for more peace in the short term.
Amen.
Yeah. So.
Amen.
Yeah. You want to take a little bit of a break, Wusa?
Yes, my breath work, the way that my lungs are coming through, is like sending the breath. Let's go out with another little
yes, please.
4 seconds in. 7 minutes hold. 7 seconds hold. Oops. We in deep sea diving. And then an 8 second. 4, 7, 8 breath. I love this. Okay.
Okay.
In for 4. Hold for 7. Out for 8. Through the toes. You'll get my bill, BAFam. Goodbye. Be back in a break. Be back in a little bit.
And we're back. And I do feel calmer. Thanks, Mandra. That was beautiful.
Yeah. Just repeat that every 5 minutes like I do. And you too can survive the worst. Oh man, brown boost, brown break though.
Yes. Oh,
Find something to boost about.
Right? And now it's time to boost or break or boost or break or boost or break or boost. Are you gonna boost? Are you gonna break? What you gonna do? What you gonna take? And because I just have a short little boost. And honestly, you might have done this. Did you do that book that you recommended to us?
Did I do what book that I recommended?
Did you boost last week? Attached?
Yes.
You
Attached
boosted it
was
already.
my boost. Yeah.
Oh,
but
it was.
You can co-boost it. Co-sign it, co-boost
so
it.
so I'll go first just because it's like a short, but I
It's changed
just
everyone's lives.
Girl,
Who I
Mandi,
mentioned it to.
I owe you a hand foot massage, right?
Hey.
Because that book, Mandi suggested a book, and if you didn't listen to, I can't remember last time we had a boost break, but our last boost break, Mandi recommended this book called Attachment. Who's the author of Attached?
It's called Attached, and it has a subtitle that I can never remember. But hold on, I will find it because there are several copies, several books called Attached, apparently.
Okay, yeah, that's true.
Which one? By Adam Levine and Rachel S.F. Heller.
Well,
And it is
Amir. You said Adam Levine, which is hilarious. Oh, look at you did a Tiffany. You did a Tiffany.
The way that I just became dyslexic, you're right. And I looked at it again and I saw Adam, and I looked away and I said Amir. The New Science of Adult Attachment and How It Can Help You Find and Keep Love.
So
And a job and a friends.
Yes, I was going to say what I loved about Attached, that although, yes, and they say this, they're like, attachment theory is not just about romantic love. That really attachment theory and attachment begins really at birth, with the way you attach to your person that is raising you, your guardian, your mom, your dad, whoever. But then this book really specifically kind of dives into how this is potentially affecting your romantic life, whatever partnership looks like for you in your romantic life. And well, bigger than the romantic part, which we can get into a little bit, but bigger than the romantic part is that I'm really learning about myself and how I show up, and how I've been showing up. And I'm just like, oh, and then also to your point, Mandi, I'm looking at friends and family and I'm like, oh, that's what's happening. And I'm learning I'm only halfway through. So certainly I'd love to have just I think it would just be great to just talk about attachment in one episode because it's just been so helpful. In general, I took the quiz because you could take an attachment quiz. In general, I show up in a secure attachment style, which means that, I'm not anxious. I'm not avoidant, that I'm I have healthy relationships in general in romantic spaces. And well, this is I want to say when Jarrell is here and Pat and beyond or prior and in, spaces with my family and loved ones, whatever. But since I've started to date, I said, let me see what my attachment style is specifically now in dating. It is anxious. And I was just wow, that really kind of blew me away that okay, in general, Tiffany, you are secure, but now that this new part of your life that you have not had to do in over 10 years is here, I'm showing up with anxious attachment. At first I thought maybe it was avoided, but that the way you are avoided or not is do you crave intimacy or not? Do you want closeness and intimacy? If you don't want closeness and intimacy, you're likely an avoidant. If you do want closeness and intimacy, then you're either secure or anxious, and then you just have to see how the rabbit hole goes. So I do want closeness and intimacy now because I miss companionship, but I am navigating from a place of fear, there's fear of what if it goes? What if something happens to this person? There's all this anxiety that's being brought up that was not here before when Jarrell was here. And I just there was a component, actually I called you. I don't even know if we talked about this last time. My memory goes, I called you because I read this component where I was crying. There was a study in the book that's called the Strange Things Study or something to that effect, where basically a baby is in the room with their mom and a researcher Mom holds baby, enters into the room, all these amazing baby toys, all the colors. The babies love the toys and lights up. And so mom puts baby down on the ground. Baby crawls over to play with the toys, but glancing occasionally back. Mom's still here, playing with the toys, enjoying myself, exploring. Mom glances back. Mom is still here, exploring. Then mom slips out. When the baby's busy playing, baby looks to make sure mom's still here. She's not here. Baby loses his shit. Crawls over to the door, bangs on the door. Where's my mama, basically? But, baby can't speak. The researcher tries to re-engage the baby, like, these toys are still here, though. Baby's like, get out my face. Literally throws toy in researcher's face, like, you thought. And finally, mom comes back. Baby, continues to cry, is consoled. Once they feel better, they're like, put me down, because me and these toys about to play again. But stay here, sis. Yeah. And so what mom represents in that study was something called a secure base. This is what the book was saying. And they found that when children have a secure base, those children explore and experience the world from a place of like, I can do anything, I can navigate, because my base is secure. And I'm not going to try to cry, but I realized that one of the reasons, remember I was like, Mandi, I don't even know if I want to do budgeting anymore. Mm-hmm. I don't know if I want to do anything. I didn't realize how much of a secure base that Jerome provided for me. Like, I knew I had like this awesome husband, but I didn't realize like how much, because I find myself to be like hyper independent. Like that's what I told myself, because I grew up hyper independent. The household that I grew up in, it was like, you can do it. You've got it. My dad was very much girl power. And so I underestimated how much security I got from having him in my life. Because literally the year I moved in with Jarrell in the halfway hood, I went from 6 figures to 7 figures in business. Because for the first time, I did not have to be my own foundation. That I had the space. Like, it's not like we didn't have any money or anything like that, but I had this secure place to be like, I'll never hit the ground because he's there covering it, And I just was like, wow, no wonder I felt so secure, because I grew up in a household which was a little bit emotionally chaotic, if I'm being honest. And Jarrell came into my life and provided so much safety and security that my attachment style shifted toward secure. And across the board, it helped to shift me. And now that he's not here, I feel a little bit lost. Not even a little bit, a lot of it lost. And I don't want to explore the world. The world seems so scary, and I don't necessarily want partnership anytime soon, but I certainly miss companionship, because being by yourself all the time is really lonely. And so that's why dating now brings up so much anxiety, for me. Like, there's one person in particular that I've been hanging out with more than anybody else. He listens now, which I'm like, great, hey. I know.
Dang, that's how you know it's young and fresh. They still listen to the pod. They stopped listening years ago.
And so but I'm navigating from a place of like high anxiety, and
like, this could be taken away. I don't trust that this is forever.
Yes. Or just like anything. I'm just like, what does that mean? Oh, well, everything just feels so temporary. Like, I'm not ready to invest here. I'm not, it's been great. And you made a suggestion, because you said you and husband were reading the book together, which I love. And so I asked,
powerful.
I asked him, and we've been doing, so we just got to chapter 4. And one, I love the fact that he said that he was more than open to doing so. And so, because he's a big reader anyway, so we've been reading the book together and really like navigating chapter by chapter and discussing what we're thinking and feeling. And it's just been really an amazing experience. I still don't want partnership. That's for him, because he'd be asking.
But that's fair. Like, the book for me is like you talk about like the perennial or the annual read or whatever, perennial seller, annual seller.
Yes.
For me, it's like the annual read. Like, let's revisit this book and take the assessments again, because like you said, a major life event can change your attachment style.
Yeah.
Age, a relationship, and I feel like this book, so many people commented who said, my therapist recommended this book after my divorce. And I feel like it could prevent a lot of divorces.
Yeah.
you know, whether by preventing people from marrying people who are the wrong style for them, or helping you get the tools to, you know, strengthen your relationship in spite of, you know, some differences that you have. It's just been, you know, really eye-opening, and it's the first book I've read in a very long time that I feel like I know myself better having read it. And it's not one of these books where it's like, do these things to achieve this goal. This is sort of like, understand these things so that you can know yourself better.
Yes.
And it created, like, in the storm of the past month, it really gave me like a sense of calm and acceptance for at a great time, because I never have needed so much support than I, you know, maybe I have in the past, but like I needed a lot of support, and I know how to ask my partner for specifically what I need now. And I know why I'm asking, and I know, and he understands because he's reading the book too, why I need what I need and what happens if I don't get it.
No, I love, honestly,
you don't want to upset an anxious attachment.
Well, you know, one thing I will say I love about the book is that there's no judgment on the attachment style that you display.
There's no right or wrong one.
No. And so, but what I love is that, like, especially with someone who's displaying anxious attachment, it said, if you can provide the safety and security, if you have the patience to provide the safety, security, and communication that anxious attachment needs, you will be blessed with a hyper loving, compassionate partner. And I just
love
love
that you're describing why you should adopt a dog. Like, I am that, like, snaggly tooth mutt, you know.
It's like, girl, if you just look after me
at the shelter,
right, you'll have the bestest friend, you'll have the bestest, like, partner. And so
I might bite small children and ruin your carpet. You know what I mean? But you'll be really cute and you'll love it.
But I just love, like, that. It's just been one. Yeah, so it's just been really eye-opening for myself. But also, too, you know, one thing I do like about this person that I'm mostly dating is that there's an openness, you know? Like, I could talk about Jarrell all the time, and I do, which I'm not, you know, I don't even know how he navigates that. But because Jarrell, you know, he was and still is the love of my life. And I remember him asking me distinctly, like, do you think that you could love again? And at first I thought, I don't know. And then I thought about the way parents love children. So I know when Rio first came, you were like, girl, ain't no love greater than this love. Everybody's could go. Yeah. This is my boo. This is like, but what Rio, I assume, really did was opened up a different level of capacity in your heart, because now you have, you know, this new baby. What's your new baby's name again? I can't, like, my mind is like drawing a blank. Remy, I know. Right. So now you have Remy. So it would be crazy to be like, well, I have Rio, child. I can't, there's no space for another baby for me to love another baby. That's not what Rio did. That Rio helped to expand the capacity of your heart, that you can love Remy. And if you were to have another baby, you would be able to love that baby just as much. And I think that that's the way really good partnered romantic love can do for you too. That, like, it's not that the buck stops with Jarrell, which is what I thought at first when he first passed away for the first, like, year and a half, right? That is because of the kind of love I had with Jarrell, it expanded my heart's capacity, that I do believe that I can love again, you know, because it's like your heart can expand as much as the good love that you have poured into it. So I do believe that I just, like, in this space and time, Dr. Green has been awesome, because I told her, I said, is there a reason why I'm just not wanting partnership? I mean, obviously I know because I miss Jarrell, but bigger than that, she said, Tiffany, it sounds like to me that you recognize that partnership takes a lot of, she said, I don't like the word work, because work sounds like a negative connotation, that partnership takes a lot of investment. Mm-hmm. And right now you are investing in yourself. Mm-hmm. You know, because I'm still trying to find my footing. And so I recognize I actually don't have the excess investment to pour into someone else, because I'm still trying to get myself. So it's not a judgment on, you know, whether someone's enough or not, or good or bad. It's like, not at all. It's literally a Tiffany choice that I'm like, I am reserving all of my resources to invest in myself until I can feel stable again, and be open to partnership. Although I am open to companionship, you know, but like not necessarily partnership right now. Like I'm not trying to be nobody's, you know, girl, woman, like, you know, wife. I can't even imagine, but you know, maybe one day, you know, so, but Attached, that book has really been so helpful for me to see myself as I'm navigating. And so I can just, be kinder, but then also to kinder to whomever I'm dating, and also to navigate toward I want to get back to the secured attachment style that I've enjoyed for so long, you know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I still feel like, I think we talked a little bit about this too, just because for me, it opened up my eyes to how I move through my friendships too. And I was like, thank God for Tiffany, because I think that I've become ready for a friend like you, because I, as an anxious attachment person, was just always looking for friendship in the wrong avoidant places. I just always had the one avoidant bestie. And I think I'm finally decided that I don't like the way that avoidant besties make me feel. It's horrible. It's awful. And it's not okay for me. As an anxious avoidant, I'm always like, oh, I'm the problem. When they get too close to me, they realize that I'm horrible and they don't want to, you know? And like, but they're reacting not because of me, because of, anyway. So find you a secure bestie. And I was actually talking to a Brown Ambition former guest, Rushika Tolshian, who wrote Inclusion on Purpose. I think I had her on when you were actually on, it was after Jarrell passed. But anyhow, Rushika was asking me about, she's writing an amazing book called Uncompete, sidebar. Have to have her on to talk about it. It's basically about how there's so much more to gain by not competing with one another as women. But she asked me for an example of, anyway, and I was like, yes, I have a secure friendship in Tiffany. She's secure, and I don't have to worry about, I don't have to like watch what I say. I feel like I can just be myself, and it's a beautiful thing. It really is.
I love you, Mandi.
I love you too.
Yeah. No, for real. Because I'm always like, whenever you call me, you're like, did I say? I was like, huh? Girl, I barely remember what we talked about. So now.
Offend you when I said that thing that I'm overthinking now?
I'm like, what thing?
But at least I'll pick up the phone now, because before I would just like, is she gonna show up next week?
No, and honestly, there has never been a conversation where I felt like, you know, like Mandi said something that offended me. So, and I told you, as much as I love the BA listeners, y'all are good, but I only came back honestly because of you, Mandi. Like, if this was like a solo podcast I was doing by myself, y'all would have been like, well, grand opening, grand closing. I wouldn't be back. You know, I literally came back because of my friendship with Mandi, and I enjoy having this time. Sometimes I forget that, like, you know, we're taping, because I'm like, I said that? Damn. You know, I thought I was just talking to Mandi. You know, like literally, I came back for you. I came back because I enjoy this time. I came back because, you know, like, you're my friend and I love you, and I want to continue to do this for as long as we want to do it. And so, yeah, no. So yes, thankfully that part of myself is still secured. Like I still navigate from secure attachment and friendships. It's just this new space, you know, that I'm like navigating. But,
yeah. Well, I'm saying, if you guys want to have a woo child moment, you got to get that book. Let us know what you're learning about yourselves through that book, Attached. It's such a game changer.
Yeah.
Right,
do you want to do a boost? I was going to say yes.
I'm going to do a boost.
Okay.
I'm going to do a boost because something that put a huge smile on my face today is The Color Purple is a book that I could read 100 times and not read it enough. And I've seen the movie. I've seen the Broadway show twice, once with Fantasia. The last time was with Cynthia Erivo. And there's a movie coming out this holiday season, I think Christmas time, and they just released a new trailer. And every trailer, I'm just like put me on the mailing list. I want to subscribe to every version of this trailer. It's got Fantasia. It's got Taraji P. Henson. It's got so much heart, and the trailer is up. We can post a link in the show notes so that y'all can see it. But the music, like Taraji's playing, I can't, Suge Avery, in the movie, and I think Fantasia is still playing Celie, and then Danielle Brooks is playing Oprah's role as Sophia.
I love it.
Yes, it's going to be so freaking good. And it's about sisterhood. It's about friendship. It's about everything. So if you didn't know it was happening, now you do. That's my boost to color.
Yeah. This whole podcast was about sisterhood and friendship. I love it. We love to see it.
I love it.
And if you need anything, Mandra, you know, like food delivered, you know, I love that's like one of my favorite things to do when someone's going through a life. Sometimes the last thing you want to worry about is what's for lit. You know,
yes.
You get
the answer is yes.
Send me like a like, you know, 3 or 4 things of your favorite things, and then I could just be like randomly like Uber
Edible
Eats is on the way.
Yes. Things I don't have to cook. Yes. Because at the end of the night, I'm like, oh yeah, I probably need to eat something. It's not great. It's gotten there again. So that's so sweet. Thanks, Tiff.
No, of course, I got you.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. Check in on your loved ones. You know, check in on us. We love y'all.
Check in and see them. Go physically be present, because even a phone call is not enough sometimes with these lying ass parents. I mean, with your family and friends who may not tell you the whole truth and nothing but the truth. Yeah. All right.
We'll see you on the BAQA. Yes. Bye.
I always say until next week. Hello. See y'all on Friday. Jeez.